Let me now spend some time on a practical case study, right? So here we are looking at a SaaS company. We did this exercise, some time back, where we helped a guy who had created a SaaS solution, which was essentially a platform for analyzing inventory for SMB retailers. And he was looking at the global market for 3.2 million SMB retailers with a target pricing of $35 per retailer, per user per month, right? So within a retailer, you could have multiple users. So $35 per user per month kind of pricing. So what we did, we defined a 7-step TAM, SAM, and SOM process, SOM calculation process, which is, on the left side behind my back. But essentially, we started by defining ICP. In one of the previous sessions, I think in the session of ideation, you can look at that video for more clarity. I spoke about how defining your target group is absolutely critical as the first step. So, target group is also known as ICP, the ideal customer profile. ICP stands for ideal customer profile. In this case, your ICP is the SMB retailers who need inventory analytics solutions. So it's a combination. It is not the entire population of SMB retailers. It is SMB retailers who actually need inventory analytics. You might always come back and tell me that, Abhishek, 100% of SMB retailers need inventory analytics today. And I might agree. But this 100% might get slightly more informed if you get your market research right, right? So once you have defined your ICP closely, you do a top-down sizing, right? Now you looked at we looked at a very multiple popular industry reports, and it gave us an estimate of closely 3.2 million SMB retailers globally who are present globally, right? Now we started doing the bottom-up exercise here, and I'm just taking a bottom-up example here right now, right? Just in the spirit of time that we have. So bottom-up sizing, what we looked at, we said that since we are a platform which is predominantly you going to use English as a language across our platform and communication channels. So we try to bring that 3.2 million down to a number which can be targetable via English speaking channels. And what we realized was that it was around 25%, right, of the overall addressable market. So it came down to about 800,000 stores. Now, pricing, my client had already decided at about $35 per user per month. And we defined the average at that point in time that there will be at least one user per store who will be using the solution. So what is your ARR or annual recurring revenue? It is $35 multiplied by 12 months. That comes to about $420 per SMB or per store that you onboard to use your inventory analytics software. Now you do your TAM calculation, right? So TAM is the total addressable market, right? So there you look at the entire bucket of 3.2 million and you multiply it by 420. So it comes to about $1.34 billion. What is a SAM? SAM is basically those SMB retailers who can be targeted via English speaking channels. That came down to about 800K. So we multiplied 800K by 420 to bring it down to 336 million, which is 25% of the overall total addressable market. And SOM is basically the business projection, realistic business projection that we did for our client for the first 5 years, and it came down to $50 million, right? So $50 million on a base of $336 million, which is about 15 odd percent. So that is how we define TAM, SAM, and SOM. And by the way, these numbers are not actual because we have to sanitize the numbers here, right? As we maintain strict confidentiality with all our clients in terms of the work that we do. But hopefully it gives you a good idea that for a recurring business model such as software as a service or SaaS, how can you do a quick market sizing exercise? Of course, when we did that, there were a lot more detailed parameters which were defined and looked for the total addressable market, the journey from total addressable market to serviceable available market. And of course, the biggest exercise was SOM, where we really grilled our client on the realistic revenue that he can potentially achieve in the next 5 years, right? So hope this was a good case study that you were able to relate to.